Hi travelers, Tara here, and this is going to be a winter solstice reading for my Substack subscribers. So you can only see this with the view, with the link, if you subscribe to my Substack. I hope everyone is okay. Just a few more days until we get to Christmas, the holidays. Which means after that, there's only a week left until the end of 2022. So pat yourself on the back. You made it through. If you can hear my voice, see my face, read my Substack, then you made it through 2022. Just a bit more left yet. I am working on the January 2023 readings to be posted over to the YouTube channel. I'm going to be using a different deck of cards perhaps for these readings, and doing the readings a bit differently than I've normally done them. We'll just try to see how that works. The reason why I'm looking so weird, or the angle is weird, is because I've got my camera now on a mini tripod. I have already done some shuffling and meditation on the winter solstice, which by the way is the shortest night of the year, the first astronomical day of winter. So we're moving into the dark winter months, as it were. The weather is already showing us that winter is here. I think all across the northern half of the globe, there's lots of, snow, cold weather, things of that nature. And this is the time when you're going to discover whether all the things that you did leading up to the first day of winter or into the month of the season of winter, if those things have panned out, are going to play out for you. Okay, because typically this is a time when we sowed our seeds in the spring, we cultivated during the summer, we harvested during the fall, and now it's time for us to kind of sit back and rest while the rest of the world goes to sleep, as it were. So while I was shuffling, the cards kind of dealt themselves, and I've stopped. So I'm just going to put this tripod back down, and then we'll go from there, okay? So bear with me a second. Hopefully hopefully the camera will stay. Oh, well, that's kind of weird. Okay, hopefully the camera will stay where it needs to be. Let me make sure that it doesn't, the cord doesn't pull it over, and then I'll arrange this a little bit better. We're going to be using, and hopefully my hands won't turn it over. So we'll be using the Radiant White deck. We'll also be using the La Vida Sibillas for clarification. And then depending on what the full message is, we'll determine whether or not what oracle card we will use to round the reading out. So as you can see here, the three cards on the table. The first card that fell out was the Three of Swords, followed by the Devil, and then the Magician. That's a very, very interesting combination of cards. The two major arcana at the top. Let's continue. I'm not going to deal anymore. I'm just going to lay the cards. The Knight of Pentacles, the Seven of Cups, the Nine of Cups. Well, that's interesting. And the final row of cards, the Ace of Pentacles. Wow. The Seven of Swords. So now I have two sevens. Finally, the Page of Pentacles. Isn't that interesting? So, two swords, 1, 2, 3 pentacles, 2 cups, 2 major arcana cards, and the only repeating numbers that I have are these 2 sevens here. What is over the entire reading? it is the Two of Cups. So interesting. I always say that, but the stories are always interesting that the cards tell. Past, present, future. Past, present, future. Of course, the camera went out of focus. Interplay of the cards. Let's see if I can get it back. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. Let's see here. Oh, come on. Come on. There we go. Okay. I think sometimes my hands move so fast in the frame and it kind of throws it off. All right. Let me get rid of this gum. So, right in the center we have the Seven of Cups. The number 7 in general speaks to a momentary pause, right? You've gone up from the 1, from some new opportunity, the 2, making the decision, the 3, going ahead, the 4, landing on some kind of solid foundation, then 5, the changes come in, the 6, overcoming the changes, whatever they were, and now it's the 7. And the 7 is really a moment of questioning yourself before moving on to the 8, okay? Because the 8 can be kind of difficult, somewhat like a 5, but not as difficult. As the 8s are typically good numbers. They are numbers of karma. They are numbers of basically money and finances, or at least the idea of having done something and done it well. And then you move to the 9, a focus on completion, and then the 10, finally you complete that. 8 still can sometimes be an indication of obstacles and delays. Here with the 7 of Cups, we see that the figure is in sort of relief. He's sort of surprised. So I'm not exactly sure if this is a nightmare or if this is someone who's building castles in the sky. Everything is a fantasy. This card can sometimes come up when perhaps people have a substance abuse issue, or if they are forever dreaming of something but they never do anything. All right. If it's a nightmare, it is the idea that you've got so many choices to choose from, you don't know what to do. But the card says, if you can identify the most important thing, I'm going to try to make my hands move slowly, which would be this shrouded cup in the center, then you can, in effect, kind of prioritize the rest of the choices that you have. It may be that some of them are not realistic and you can ditch them, in which case you're going to be able to focus on those things that are most important to you. So in that vein, the 7 says that you absolutely can have everything that you want, but you're going to have to get emotionally clear. Maybe some of the things that you want are not realistic things, right? There's an indication that some of you do get that here with the 9 of Cups. That's the wish card. And as you know, I'm very ambivalent about that card. It has a place in the deck itself, but it never really says anything. It never really says, it doesn't have any extra meanings or anything except you get what you wish for or what you have hoped for, or your wishes and dreams are coming true or will be coming true. It's a 9, so there's a focus on completion. So you've gotten everything that you wanted thus far. You got to make it to the 10 of Cups, right? Extreme emotional contentment. But what bothers me is the row at the top. The 3 of Swords. The 3 of Swords indicates some type of disappointment, maybe frustration, maybe bitterness, maybe sadness, maybe an attack on the feeling center. Someone has said something to you that has hurt you deeply, or maybe someone's been gossiping about you in that vein, or saying negative things about you. But the 3 of Swords has a sense of vision, and what it says is that sometimes in life we have to go, in order to get what we want, we have to go through a bit of short-term pain in order to get it. I've also seen the card be an indication said that some type of unsettling communication has come in, okay, with the Devil. Now, the Devil card represents, in a sense, this time of the year. It is it represents Capricorn, and it is ruled by Saturn. And Saturn is the taskmaster. He makes things difficult for us. He asks us, how bad do we want something, and what are we willing to do to get it? Are we going to roll up our sleeves and do the hard work? What do we commit ourselves to? So we see the two figures here chained. So this could be a relationship of any kind. But again, it could also be something like substance abuse, someone who has addictions and who's prone to hallucinations and delusions because of it. The Devil card can sometimes be an indication of something dreadful looming, but it turns out to be okay. It could be the idea of being stuck or being fearful. It could be the idea that someone is trying to wield power over you for negative gains or negative reasons. Here with the Magician card, that's a funny kind of a card because it's picking up two things. What I'm getting from the Magician card is that indeed this is someone that you've been dealing with. And they've been using all of their energy and all of their tools for the wrong use. Okay? But it also indicates the idea of you being able to overcome this person and whatever their negative intentions were by focusing and directing your will. To me, this is an indication of somebody who's just kind of maybe power mad, power hungry, and is trying to thwart you in terms of doing whatever it is that you do or would like to do. Now here over the past, we see the Three of Swords, the unsettling communications, but then the Knight rides in, the slowest knight in the deck, right? And tradition has it that when this knight shows up, you know, it's good news and it's welcome news. It's just taken a while to get to you. And additionally, he's also holding the ace. So the news comes in and you are given a new opportunity, either to take a different path, to do something differently. Perhaps this is a new economic or financial or career opportunity for you. But we also see that the news brings about all of the choices. Now, sometimes the Nine of Cups can be the idea that you think you got everything you need and therefore you don't need anything else. And that's a fine thing too. But as we can see here, this ace leads to the Seven of Swords. This is another card that speaks to the idea of things not going the way that you want, either because you're unable to make firm choices or you are distracted, you're running around, you're doing a whole bunch of things, you're not paying attention, okay? But it can also be the idea that someone is playing tricks on you. They're perpetrating some kind of fraud in broad daylight. Sometimes this card is about theft. As you can see here, there's a whole group of people sitting over here in the background. And he has grabbed the Five Swords from their camp. And he's trying to determine if he's going to go back and get those other two or if he's going to leave them alone. That's a funny card. I think the image is funny. He's somewhat sketchy, kind of. The look on his face is somewhat sketchy, kind of. He doesn't appear to me to be running. So this is someone who does something deliberate. Okay. You know, and I'm going to just say something which is interesting. This card has the appearance of someone black or of color. The only figure that looks like that in this entire deck. There's not another one like it. So I oftentimes find that to be an interesting kind of a thing. I don't know what's being said here. Even the clothing with the little fez on the top would be an indication of someone from maybe Egypt or Morocco, around that area. So definitely a person of color, okay? And I often find that to be quite interesting. Just a note to looking at things. But this card also says that there may be someone who is, if things are not going to plan, so delays again, nothing seemed to be going right. It could be either due to someone else's efforts against you, or you yourself not doing what you should do. Sometimes that shows up to me like the due diligence card. So this could be doing research online. It could be someone stalking you, harassment online. It could be any number of things. For me, the way it's coming across is that there's definitely somebody who is being the devil's advocate and who's trying to, in a sense, pull the wool over either your eyes or what is happening here. And then it ends in the Page of Pentacles. Now this is a more fully fleshed out message than the Page of Pentacles. And so for me, the Knights never really represent messages. They represent events, something moving, but it moves now because there's new news and new circumstances coming in to cause it to move. Okay. And so it goes down a bit in, not stature is not the right word, and importance is not the right word, but something of that nature. Now, if this person is playing the magician, the question becomes, do they get what they want? Okay. Or do you get what you want? All right. So this could be literally someone asking you to join forces with them for something. The Two of Cups is not necessarily about romantic love. It is about partnerships. It is about two people who can exchange logical ideas between each other. They get each other. They're on the same wavelength. They respect each other. They admire each other. They communicate well with each other. So I've seen this card show up when it talks about the right type of partner coming along. So this is not only in romance, but it is also in business. Okay, opportunities. It is the row down the center that gives me the most pause. It is our what do you call it? Our present column here. Even if I look this way, some unsettling communication. Somebody gets what they want, but I don't know who that would be. And at present, it is the idea that this row, 2 7s can be an indication of false friends. Okay. In other words, again, someone trying to lead you astray, trick you, whatever the case may be. Sometimes the 7 of Swords can be the idea of putting up with awful behavior from other people because we think the end is going to justify the means. Okay. Again, that power and control. But then, this card too says that you are not chained in such a way that you can never hope to be free. The figures here have loose chains around their necks. They can literally take those things off and walk away from the situation. For some reason, they feel stuck. And whenever that comes up for me in a reading, it's because there's an exchange. You are both getting something out of it. In terms of like, it may be doing a deal with the devil, you know what I mean? But the devil has something that you want. So sometimes this can show up cars, clothes, all of the things that represent the third dimensional, the things that we need to live and the things we like to do, and temptations. Okay, so I'm going to, I can't look at these cards, and these are the only two, which is interesting. I've got the 2 figures here, the 2 figures chained to the base of the devil, and then the 2 figures here. So this tells me that this is at least 2 people, some type of partnership, but I can't get any information out of those 2 cards. So that leaves me these pip cards as they relate to these 2 cards. Okay. What did I just do with my book? I just had it in my hand. Oh my God, here it is. Okay, here we go. So, the 3 of Swords with the Devil card, if anything, tells us nothing. It can be an indication that either you or yourself or someone very close may be experiencing second thoughts or a change of heart, which in turn will bring about a change in attitudes and or behavior. Okay? Seven of Cups. Tells me nothing, except that there's an important decision to make. It says there may be choice here, so consider all options carefully. It is also a message to expect the unexpected. That's quite interesting. The Nine of Cups, like I said, never tells me anything, except it is the wish card. That's it. It's the yes card. Unless it's not. In which case, it could be an indication that something or someone is directly interfering with your good fortune that is meant to be headed your way. This may be from within the self, as I was telling you here, or from an outside source. It also speaks to a reluctance to enjoy the moment. Fears of future poverty and fears of success may also be present. If I had to look at cards, it would be, I think, the Magician. I think even on the table, he's kind of casting a pall over the, not a pall, but a fog over the spread. Let's move to the Ace of Pentacles. With the Three of Swords. It is a message to carefully consider your plans, as becoming involved in an unclear situation may lead to ongoing duress, and you may be taking on more than you can handle. Well, there you have it. And that's this whole row down the center, as I was saying. The Seven of Swords. Now, this is typically where the timing is roughly about a 2-week time frame. So this is going to lead you into the new year. In fact, the Pentacles represent years. Oh, I'm so used to the camera being that way. Represent years. So this could be an indication of a new year. Okay. Seven of Swords. Now, next to a seven of any suit is an indication that huge life changes are about to take place in your life. It is a strong indication that you have reached an important point and change is inevitable. It tells of starting over under new or different circumstances, yet new favorable conditions abound. With the Nine of Cups, it is informing you that your wants and desires will come to fruition, but not necessarily as you would expect. And that was the first thing that I saw when I put that down there. The two sevens speak to false friends. It says that it tells of upset plans, postponements, delays, and cancellations. It implies stealth around someone who attempts to outsmart destiny. It tells of the possibility of tension, arguments, disagreements, and misunderstandings. It may also imply that someone is spying or delving into issues that are not their business. It warns you to be honest and upfront in all your dealings, otherwise you will be caught out and it will have detrimental effects. But it is also an indication that dealings may be dishonest or not straightforward. So it brings a message to be particularly aware of all proceedings and remain cautious. Well, let's there's something else I wanted to take a look. Oh, I was going to say, your wishes will come to fruition, but not in the way that you thought they were. Remember when I said there's like a downgrade from here to here? Okay. And in between the start of the new year and perhaps moving forward, with whatever it is you've been wanting to do, there's some arguments and dissension here. Some some disagreements, and maybe even some shenanigans. All right, let me put that back over there. Let's shuffle these cards here and see what the Sibillas can impart for us. Trying to see if there's anything else. You know, and there's something about these swords. I notice there are no wands here. So this is actions, the coins, the doing of, finances, the physical, whatever, with the emotions and the thoughts. There are no wands here. There's no desire, no focus. Okay? No determination. So let's see what the magician has to tell us, if anything. The sacerdote, the priest, the messaggere, news from far away. There it is. Finally, the Costanza, the perseverance card. That's a strange trio of cards to come out on the magician. In a way, what it's saying to me is that the individual is stalling. They're stalling, they're trying to hold it up. I think what I find interesting about the sacerdote is that, well, technically he would be like a king of swords, so he would have to do with things like the law. So he could be an attorney, he could even be a prosecuting attorney. As a person or a character, if this is a spouse, this is someone who is not very demonstrative in their affections, but will, you know, fight to the death for you. Okay? But if you will notice here, he's pointing in two different directions. Here and here. And in which case, back here, he's pointing towards the devil. Okay? We don't know what the devil signifies for this individual. So this could be the idea of whatever the problem or the issue is behind him. And what is he pointing at in front of him? He's pointing at the message, the news. This doesn't tell me, the messaggere doesn't tell me where the news is coming from, what the news is about. But to me here with the perseverance or the Costanza card, to me is an indication of someone stalling. It takes a long time. But additionally, he could be hiding something in the folds of his cloak. These are 13th century cards. We know that back in the day, priests had wives, they had children, they had vices, they owned lots of property. So then the question would be, I think, because definitely there's a downgrade here. What's in the center? The confusion. I don't even think that's it. I'm just kind of at a loss. My guides are not telling me. There's so many cards I could pull on, but I only have so much time. I guess if I were gonna, what's with the devil? It's behind him. What is it? That would be personally my thing. My guides want me to lay cards all over the place, but I don't have that kind of time today. Speranza, hope. The ammalato, the illness, and the bambino falling on the devil card. Well, that's quite interesting. I will tell you, this has a connotation to do with hometown. See the cards with the building there. We see him coming from this we see him coming from this village. Here, the building in the back, the construction indicates from someone's hometown. So maybe that's where the message is coming from. So the message could be about him. Okay? But again, it has the idea of stalling. So the Speranza is the card of hope. It tells you not to give up hope. to maintain faith. It also has connotations to do with travels overseas or by water. But the Amuleto is the card of ill health. It is a card of maybe having patience, resting, taking a break, relaxing. So maybe something's gotten you down, maybe an actual physical illness. But it can also indicate situations and people that are making you ill. Something's untainted and unclean. And the Bambino only speaks to new conditions. It is an intensifier. So something is happening here. The Sibillas don't necessarily want to bring it out. So what I'm going to do, this is something that'll probably just have to play out. So what I'm going to do is pull a golden Nostradamus to see what other information he can impart for us. Perhaps he can. And then I will pull a psychic oracle tarot. So formulate your question. It doesn't look as though this is something completely detrimental. It's just saying to you that there's someone, for whatever reason, the reasons are cloaked. Remember I said the magician's kind of cloaking this, and I can't quite get to the, it's rather foggy. All right. The winter solstice, the longest night of the year, on the longest night of the year. So that kind of a thing. Yes, it could even be someone using magic or attempting to use magic. Okay. He would be the black magic practitioner. This person, the messagetic, could be an indication of a spirit guide trying to help and assist. So, the Jester card. Okay. And then formulate a question for the Psychic Tarot. Oh. Truth. Number 20. That would be, I think, judgment. Isn't that interesting? I'll double check that to make sure that that's what that is. That's a truth. That's quite a strong, bold statement for the cards to make. The Jester. When on his face he wears a... it's odd playing to that side. When on his face he wears a frown, he cannot pretend to be a clown. An event is coming that you have been dreading for some time, but do not worry. This occurrence will bring you good luck, good news, and renewed energies. Well, again, as I say, the cards don't say that it's, it doesn't go your way. It just says it's not going to go the way you think it's going to go. Okay? Right? Huge difference. The Truth card. Interesting. It is a major arcana. Let me go back here. It's getting dark and I don't have the lights on in here, so it's kind of hard for me to read. The qualities of this card illustrate spiritual awakening, clarity, the revelation of truth, and cosmic consciousness. Let me find something to put it up against. Hold on. So that way you can see it. Hold on. I'm gonna get it right for you. There you go. Okay, that way I can read. At times, it takes a wake-up call to get your attention and show how far you need to go. This card comes forth to do just that. Evaluation of the past, along with the lessons that you've learned or still need to understand, must now be a top priority. Doing so will enable you to forgive, accept, and heal so that you can move forward in a balanced spiritual mindset. The Truth card reminds you that a significant change must be made in a certain area of your life. But don't make any hasty decisions. Take your time, for any choices or alterations must be weighed and evaluated with the most careful and wisest of judgments. Whatever steps you take now will have far-reaching consequences, more than you'll ever know. Using the powers of the universe and blending them with a little help from the physical world will assist you in bringing about clarity and a shift of awareness. What was once not obvious will now be revealed and understood. Be honest with yourself and trust what you know to be true. Yes, this is the Judgment card. Now, let me say one thing. It says, using the powers of the universe and blending them with a little help from the physical world will assist you. Remember when I said this was two things? It was you overcoming whomever this person is, but it's also the person trying to thwart you. And I think in some way they score points, but if you are careful in your choices, pay attention, it won't go like you say, I think you can still do that. So that directing your will with a little, tapping into the universe and then directing your will with the physical, that's what the magician does. As above, so below. Okay? And what that says is whatever you think that comes into play, you can direct it down to earth. So I would suggest that whatever the choices are that you have to make between now, let's say, and January 1st, be very circumspect. That's what judgment is. Judgment is not just, it's about weighing up the choices and the options that you have and balancing them, trying to balance them out against everything else, against all of the facts and circumstances that exist. So I want to take a quick look before I finish. Usually my end of the year readings are quite long. So this is almost 40 minutes and I didn't even realize it. But what I'm going to do here is check to see what our first full moon will be in the sign of Cancer on the 6th of January. Well, that's funny, isn't it? All right, so that's what I have for you. Until next time, have a safe, happy holiday season. Happy New Year to you guys, and I'll see you in 2023. Bye.